Effective leadership in the cultural sector requires three things: vision, transparency, and accountability. Vision to be able to propose something new, to break the status quo, to use culture to open minds and to shape the future. Transparency to ensure that this is done efficiently, that the results are clear to everybody. And accountability is connected to that. To be able to be transparent, you need to be able to measure your impact. And by accountability, I mean the ability to measure the impact, which shows that you're being transparent and that your vision is actually leading somewhere.
One of the wonderful things that arts and culture does for individuals and in the communities, it gives us an opportunity to express ourselves in so many different ways. And what's key to all of this is to be able to celebrate the different ways we express ourselves, the different ways we honor our traditions, as well as our new creative ideas, and being able to do that without force-fitting everybody to be exactly alike.
The first thing is vision, for sure. Then being able to face adversity sometimes, courage. Courage is really important. And I think we live now in a time when we need to be bold. And it's more or less my thinking right now. It's be bold or go home.
I think breadth of perspective and having a strong sense of the very many varied different approaches and interests and types of arts and creative activity that exist across the world.
More leaderships needed, especially for the cultural sector, to promote the culture and working with the culture. So we need to become leaders and champions.
To me, leadership means that you have one has to have a very strong rapport with people, identification skills as to who is useful, who is deadwood, who is very much into a vision, not only of life, but also of how to enjoy life to its fullest. And I believe that culture is very instrumental in fulfilling one's life.
The agenda for the arts sector in Sweden for the next coming decade would be digitalization.
The arts sector of Canada for the next 5-10 years will be certainly very preoccupied by the impact of digital. It changes everything. It's not a technological issue right now. It's really, I would say, a sociological issue. It transforms how citizens and how people relate to any content, including the artistic and cultural content. So it's something really top on the agenda.
Well, we've been looking at that question about where we see the arts going in the United States, and a couple of key pieces have arisen. One of them is that we would be eager to make sure people did not think that the arts were off in a corner by themselves or they're siloed. So we'd be eager to make sure that people understood that there's something for everyone when it comes to the arts, and it's not just some versus another.
Tunisia is, after 2011 revolution, is undergoing very fundamental reforms, and the new constitution has explicitly asked that culture in this Article 42 to be promoted. So in the next 5 years we are undergoing or we are implementing new projects for these reforms, including freedom of expression, civil society, decentralizations, and creativity and cultural industries in economies.
I think there's a lot of positivity in terms of outlook, currently it's not only the government, but the people are beginning to see the significance and the potential of this sector, not only as part of the people, but as in other aspects. For example, in terms of contributing to the economy as an industry.
We produced a 10-year plan in 2014, and that sets out our ambitions for that 10-year period. It's called Unlocking Potential, Embracing Ambition, and it's on our website.
Essentially, what's happening in the arts sector in Malta is very satisfying, because what we're trying to do at the Council is, in fact, pushing the concept of making culture available to everybody. To me, the future of a successful scenario in the sector in Malta is the achievement of this sense of total democratic inclusion.
Ithaca is a tool that opens us up to the world. That is, Argentina is very connected, obviously, in South America and Latin America. We have traditionally been so in Europe. But what Ithaca allows us is a global framework, to learn from what everybody's doing around the world. And we think that today the world is one global experiment of public policy in the cultural sector.
It gives us a sense of belonging to start with, and we have, struggled in a very long time as to, finding our feet, and being a member of Ithaca has actually allowed us to explore what is actually out there, and if we have problems, we actually have Ithaca as a tool to guide us.
Ithaca has a great value to us because we learn from the world.
I think it's always valuable to have international cooperations, and you are in this globalized world, you are not alone.
Of course, exchange of ideas and cultural policies, this is the basic thing. Then networking and also cooperation with the projects.
A small country like Malta, where sometimes, without even knowing, insularity may creep in, needs to be in touch with the rest, not of Europe, but of the world. Ithaca provides me and my team with the opportunity, especially in occasions like the summit that is happening here, to network with people who understand the importance of a country like Malta being part and parcel of their celebration and articulation of cultural projects.
At the cultural level, at the international level, it's playing an important role of trying to connect people, to make the networking, advocacy, communication, and also to promote the sector in its new horizons. For example, this Culture Summit for Leadership and the Crisis and how to deal with it. It opens a new theme to discuss about it in the next 5 years.
I think it's incredibly important for all of us to look at the world not just through our own window or lens, but to have a deep understanding of how others do things.
A lot of us, like countries like us in the Pacific, we have been struggling to get the arts in the cultural sector up to a position where it can be recognized, where it can be able to stand on its own as a sector. But then thanks to Ithaca for taking that initiative and coming into place to give that kind of support.
It gives us all an opportunity to not only come together and learn from each other and learn the different ways and approaches that people have. We get good ideas from people in other countries, and we don't all have to be alike. And at the heart of all of it, though, is a celebration of the arts.
What inspires me, that I never know what happens after a project and how a project will look like. It's always an open story.
Art is a part of life, and so life is the main important, and the political situation in the country and what is around us. It inspires me personally.
One of the things I love so much is I get a lot of energy when I'm in the midst of people who have different perspectives, and the ability to synthesize those perspectives, again, without force-fitting people to be exactly alike.
There's a definition of culture which a poet Auden once used, and he said the task of culture is to make self-deception more difficult. And that's what I like about the arts. The arts allow you to examine yourself in a way that other spheres of knowledge and spheres of public policy doesn't let you do. And that eye-opening experience is something that happens every day, when I go to work.
Well, it's the brilliant things that artists and creative people do every day, and it energizes you, it excites you, it helps us understand ourselves, our place in the world. It transforms us as human beings in many different ways.
Working in the arts, in fact, I'm no longer working with the arts. I'm going to become an artist by myself.
My father was an artist, and I come from a family where art was really important. And when I decided to work for the art sector, I was very interested in trying to reinvent the world, to change the world, to make it better, to make it more human, more peaceful, more interesting, more fulfilling. And this is why I love that job.
There is a special feeling about being an artist, and I believe that that's who we are, and that's what the world should be like. As a Christian, I believe that God created this world, this universe, and I believe that if we are created in God's likeness, then God is an artist. So if God is an artist, all of us are artists.
I have been practicing writing since my university days, theatre and television. So I am essentially a practitioner as well as now administrator. So I believe that the fact that I partake of the sense of fullness when you are practicing cultural aspects of your personality give you a sense of fulfillment.